obviously education benefits the individual, but how do you see it as a crucial part of nation building, of sovereignty and self-sufficiency?
Well, before I let someone else answer that, John mentioned the one-to-one idea of reminding or telling someone of the importance of education. In my case, my mother was the influential person who said to us, "Which are you going to be, Bruin or a Trojan?" To me, that in layman's language is, "Are you going to be a USC person, University of Southern California, or are you going to go to UCLA?"
Which one did you decide on?
Well, I went to SC and then I taught at UCLA. So,
so really you did both.
But the important thing is that the family is the vehicle. That is we have to strengthen the family and raise the idea of the value of education. And then it just follows that the kids would tend to look favorably on higher ed or education. As far as nation building, I'm not totally sure I know exactly what that is. If you have a illumined citizenry, no matter where, things are going to evolve in a way that is effective to govern oneself and so on. So it all boils down to the individual and not having a damper. Here in the case of the school, in my example again, was that the counselors weren't necessarily pushing college prep but some of us just gravitated because of our parent, my mother, whereas some of my cousins and other friends tended not to select the preparation college prep. So it's I think the habit of stereotype is hard to die. That is, perhaps certain, the view is that the Indian was to follow the old pattern of being a servant, excuse me, of being not qualified or not ready or whatever, Mm-hmm. And I think that has to do with the government, the way that the Indian had to rely on the government for many things, the red tape that was involved, and getting water, on the res and that sort of thing. So I'll shut up here and let.
Your thoughts, Chris?
I think it's the universities owe tribes, not just in Southern California, but throughout the United States, or all the indigenous communities throughout the world. The universities owe us the opportunity. They need to do more to reach out, since they've taken so much, as being agents of the government, the entities of the state, local government, federal government. They need to put back a little, put back something of what they've taken, but it all goes back to the bottom line is that the money issue, the budget cuts and things like that. So now that we're in San Manuel, we're in a position to where resources are available for not only educating our own tribal members, but educating any Native students that happen to be at the university, such as Cal State or UCLA. But it's the way I see it is that regardless if we have money or not, the bottom line is that we need to run our own business. We need to run our own government. We shouldn't have outsiders, non-tribal members, in positions in anywhere in tribal government or or any other tribal business, each one of those positions should be filled with tribal members, and so I mean, the position where we're at now is just we're barely starting to incorporate ideas of higher ed and issues of sovereignty amongst ourselves, because that wasn't always the case, because even though we didn't have the resources that we do now,
it's a little different picture
yes,
now,
yes,
I think.
yes.
John, I saw you nodding in agreement earlier. Talk a little bit about what you feel is the appropriate role for universities or just schools in general.
Well, the universities and the colleges, they should have been asking what can they do a long time ago. When I came into the Cross-Cultural Center as the coordinator, that's what the first thing I did. What can we do? And I wasn't looking for anything. One thing, the generosity of the tribe has allowed and showed that they are now vested in Cal State San Bernardino and UCLA and a couple other universities probably, but they are vested because they have, they know the importance of education. Now what they're trying to do is they're trying to continue that by investing in themselves at their own reservations. At their own nations are taking care of themselves. They're become self-reliant. More and more of the tribes are becoming self-reliant. Now, am I glad for that? Yes, I'm excited about that, because we are not the only place to get educated, and there are tribes that have schools to educate their children, and then let them go out. But even then, there's only one Native American university in the state right now, in this state. And
I think there's two.
Two
in San Diego, and I'm not sure about.
And then if you remember, if you look at history, and just this is a small history lesson. Dartmouth College was set up for Indian education when it initially started. For Indians, it was an Indian school.
Really?
Now you look at it today. How many Indians do you see there? I don't know. So what our job is, Cal State San Bernardino, with what we've done, our job is to make sure that we go out, and if the tribes need some assistance with infrastructure, anything, we're supposed to be there for them. We are a part of the community too, but we're supposed to be there for the tribes. We're supposed to be there for our community, just like the tribes have been there for us. We have to be there too. The San Manuel Student Union, that was named after one of the leaders actually the leader of San Manuel, and that was after Santos Manuel was his name, and the tribe was named that also. But that, what they've done is allowed scholarships, growth for the campus, and that's as a whole. And it's a place that they're vested in. Now they're trying to become more and more vested with their own communities, and that's important. I think that's very important, that you be vested with your own community.
Right. I want to talk with you about some of the programs that are going on at Cal State and others to further this, but first I want to touch on a topic you brought up briefly, which is the American Indian schools themselves, Indigenous people educating their own, so to speak.
Well, I don't know that that's entirely the best thing. It's good to have them available, but many of the students who come from, individuals who come from rural place, the reservations are quite rural. In order for them to compete, we have the economy the way it is, our system capitalism, competition is at the top. I mean, it's the name of the game, and kids need to be prepared. Our chairman, Lyons, wants to have a prep school. I don't know whether it'll happen, but that's one of his ideas. And so, it's kind of a mixed thing. It's not clear cut, and not everyone agrees. I think having a all Indian university or school, there's safety, and you can nurture each other and so on, and get an education that way. And I think it would probably be fine, but at the same time you're not exposed to the outside world, and you're meeting again the competition nations have. After all, we're a world. The world is the playing field now. It's not just our backyard,
Right.